Glad to have you along, ladies and gents. Hope your weekend was fabulous. Those of you who don't know what you're doing with brackets and you fill those out in the office pool, I assume there's going to be a fair number of people probably winning brackets who don't know what they're doing typically, because as I read it, I didn't participate this year, but as I read it, it's all number ones in the Final Four, Fast Eddie, all number one seeds. That almost never happens as I read it.
Usually there's a few upsets along the way, but there wasn't really a Cinderella story this year.
So I would presume that somebody who doesn't know what they're doing just goes, well, the number one next to them, we'll just put 4 of those guys in there. I would bet there were a number of people that won office pools just putting the number one seeds in there. Wouldn't you guess?
Yes, definitely. Hopefully.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite in that? Are you watching it or not? I haven't paid a bit of attention.
Chris, I am all in on March Madness. This year, I've only caught like 2 games total.
Yeah, you've been busy. Tough to watch with the schedule we've been keeping. But anyway, that's the story there. I don't know. When is that all over with? It feels college basketball feels like it goes on to like June. I swear basketball goes on longer than any other sport. It just goes on and on. The life cycle of a basketball season is it has to go longer than baseball. I think it might. Does it? Can we get a ruling? Or is it just my feeling because I don't particularly care for it?
They start in November and then they finish. The Final Four is usually April, and then the championship game the same week. So maybe not. Maybe not.
So, but between pro and college, you're talking November to April?
Yeah, I mean, and pro's going to go on until June for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so it absolutely does. I'm not wrong. I mean, in terms of lengths of time on a calendar, basketball is the longest running sport of the calendar year. In a season?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then it's not my imagination, because it's the sport. It's probably the sport I pay the least amount of attention to, and I feel like it is always on. Always. Like it doesn't matter what season. Never been into it. Love hockey. Can't get enough of that. Hard to find. And I think it's the most interesting to watch, by the way. Truth be told, I mean, I love NFL football. But if you're going to say, here's a ticket to a live sporting event, every time I'm going to choose hockey, Fast Eddie. Every single time. Argue with me that it's not the most exciting thing to watch that's perpetually entertaining. No downtime.
There's no question about it. To see live, 1, and 2, you brought this up before, that matinee game, if you get like a 12 or a 1 o'clock game on a Saturday or Sunday, you have the rest of the day after that. It's awesome.
But hockey there's something magic about it. You're exactly right. The lifestyle of a hockey fan, you can't beat it. Midday, matinee, still your whole evening, not up too early in the morning. Everything's perfect. Everything should be middle of the day, just to make me comfortable. And it should have a finite amount of time. You see, if I ran the world, everything would be just fine. Anyway, 855-STIGAL if you want to get in here today. Just quickly, I mentioned that the Senate is going to take up this budget reconciliation issue this week. I find this interesting, though not surprising. The Senate budget resolution. Now, remember, they got to get together with the House ultimately to do this thing. And the House has an aggressive $1.5 trillion that they want to cut. Remember, in passing tax cuts, they also have to reduce their amount of spending. And the House wants to reduce spending by $1.5 trillion. Nope. Well, wait a minute. Yes, I'm right on that. Now, what's the Senate want to do? $880 billion. That's their initial proposal right now. So the Senate is weak sauce. They're coming in, limping in with, several billion. The House wants to go $1 trillion. Ron Johnson, the senator from Wisconsin, said, we can go bigger than the House, and we should. Right on, Ron Johnson. You guys in Wisconsin have got a stud in Ron Johnson. I'm just telling you right now. And he says, I think Thune and these guys leading these budget talks in the Senate are pansies. Go big or go home. We can do better than what Johnson's doing. I want $2 trillion in cuts or more. Thune and the boys are already saying, oh, no. I'm not sure we can get to $1 trillion. I don't think we can do that. So we'll see. And remember, reconciliation means the House passes a version, the Senate passes a version, then the boys have got to get together in the House and Senate and decide if they all agree on everything, and they can pass it between both chambers and then get it to they want to get it to the president's desk by Memorial Day. All right, taking your temperature again, Fast Eddie. What's the likelihood they get it done by Memorial Day? They have to do this. There is no can't. There is no maybe they won't. They have to do it. If they don't, let me just tell you right now, if the Republicans, and I want every last one of them listening to me, and a lot of them are right now, you don't get this done, you will get your ass handed to you next year. Make book on it, and I promise you, it's not even in question. So those of you that are thinking you're going to fight about it or whatever, or be the toughest guy in the room, or you will all get your asses kicked. Democrats will run roughshod over the entire Congress in the midterms next year if you don't get this thing done. Period. Full stop. Because you have nothing to run on right now, Republicans. Nothing. You hear me? You don't have anything to run on. I don't know how to break this to you. Trump is his own deal. He's got his own thing going. He ran already. He won big and dragged your dead asses along with him. And you can thank him for it. You don't have Daddy to block and tackle for you this time, boys and girls. You're going to actually have to do some heavy lifting yourselves. And so if you don't get meaningful tax reform done, we're going to get our butts kicked as the voter with the highest tax rates ever raised on the American public. If Trump's tax cuts expire and you allow them to expire because you guys can't get on the stick and figure it out between yourselves, we're going to get walloped with even more taxes in an economy that is still fragile. You will be crushed by Democrats next year if you don't get this done. Because if you don't get this done, the economy probably will likely continue to falter. And so not only will you not have a story of success to tell, you'll then have an economy that's ailing even worse, and it will be hanging around your necks. So you would be well advised to put all of your egos and your puffery aside and all of your special interest groups and all of that stuff and realize it's not going to amount to a hill of beans if you're all crushed come the midterms. Of course, what's always been true of the Republican Party in Congress is most of the time they like being the opposition party better than they like being the party in control of things. They'd rather not lead. They'd rather just be the party that fundraises and snipes from the sidelines, pretending we can't do anything because the Democrats run it all. When they actually have to run things, man, do they generally suck at it, the Republicans. So let this be a warning to you, Republicans, right now. Your time is short, and you've got to get this economy turned around because the public is starting to sour on the economy. And, according to some, the CBS YouGov poll, they're not quite there, but the public is it's starting to creep up. Inflation has not ebbed, and Trump, he's not going to be able to weather this forever. At some point, you guys are going to start owning inflation. Whether you caused it or not, you're going to start owning it. You don't have time. And the polls are starting to suggest that people are starting to more evenly blame the former Biden administration and this current administration for inflation. It's wrong-headed, but that's where people are going. Americans' outlook on the current state of the economy has become a bit more pessimistic since last month. New poll released late last week found that nearly 3 in 10 respondents, 29%, said they expect the economy to grow. 5%, that's a 5% drop from February. Said another way, more people were optimistic in February about the economy than they are now. The number of Americans who think the economy will be in a recession this year went up 5 points. 57% of those earning under $50,000 said their financial situation is bad. 39% argued it is good. Those earning between $50,000 and $100,000 annually, 61% of them stated their financial situation is good, 35% bad. Just a third of Americans, 33%, said the economy is good right now. That's the same as last month. Around 60% of respondents say the economy is bad. Now, they will try to blame that exclusively on tariffs. Wrong-headed. In fact, the UAW chief is thrilled with the tariff situation for American car manufacturing, and I'll get into more of that in just a little bit. But, folks, here's the deal. Republicans cannot afford to dally and dither on cutting Social Security taxes, overtime taxes. They got to cut that stuff. And they got to cut taxes across the board for everybody. Codify these Trump tax cuts for good. You've got to have a story to sell, number one, but more importantly, you've got to be able to boost this economy, putting disposable income back in the pockets of the consumer, the taxpayer, and business. It's the only way. You don't do it, and heaven help you. Republicans looking to avert humiliation in Florida's special election. Republicans pulling out all the stops ahead of a special election in Florida's 6th congressional district as worries of a narrower than expected margin grow in that district. Trump won that district by 30 points in November, 30-0. Now they're sweating it for a special congressional election. Democrat candidate Josh Weil has outraised Fine, the Republican. Democrats want it. They want it bad. How badly do you Republicans want to protect it and keep it? We'll see shortly. This is the Stigall Show.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.